This video is about embedded questions. These are also known as indirect questions. First of all, what are embedded questions? To embed means to include. An embedded question is one question which is included in another question. For example, could you tell me where the library is? One question, where is the library, is inside another question, could you tell me? Sometimes these are called indirect questions because it's a less direct way to ask the same thing. So what are the rules? Rule number 1. The subject always goes before the verb. For example, could you tell me where the library is? The subject is in blue, the library, and the verb is red, is. Compare this to the direct question, where is the library? You see, in this question, the verb is before the subject. So you can see that we have to change the word order for indirect questions. Rule number 2. If the direct question contains do, does or did, this disappears in the embedded question. For example, what time does the museum close? The direct question contains an auxiliary verb, does. The embedded question is, could you tell me what time the museum closes? There is no does, and the subject, the museum, is before the verb, closes. Also notice how I had to add an S onto the end of the verb. So in the direct question, we use close because it's the infinitive, but in the embedded question, it's closes. Rule number 3. When you ask a yes or no question, you need to add if or whether. For example, do you have a boyfriend? The embedded question is, may I ask if you have a boyfriend, or may I ask whether you have a boyfriend? Rule number 4. You can embed a question in a sentence. For example, a direct question, why didn't Jane answer my email, could become, I wonder why Jane didn't answer my email. Here the question is embedded in a sentence. Remember to use a full stop at the end instead of a question mark. Now let's practice. Here's a direct question, how old are you? Let's make an embedded question. Start with may I ask. May I ask how old you are? Did you get it right? Let's try another one. Here's a direct question, how much does it cost? What's the indirect question or embedded question? Start with, do you know? Do you know how much it costs? Here's a direct question, does she drive? What's the embedded question? Start with, do you know? Do you know if she drives, or do you know whether she drives? Last one. Does he eat fish? This time, let's embed the question in a sentence. I wonder if he eats fish.